Hey everybody, it's Party Elite with another episode of Total Breakdown. We've got a great one sent in by Pippington today as he leads Middenland against the Warriors of Chaos, led by Aloha. Middenland is led by Boris alongside a Light Wizard, 2 units of Spearmen, a unit of Halberdiers, 4 units of Greatswords, the Silver Bullets, 2 units of Demigryph Knights, and a unit of Great Cannons. The Warriors of Chaos have a Chaos Lord in charge, alongside a Chaos Sorcerer of Death, an Exalted Hero, 6 units of Chaos Warriors with Great Weapons, and 3 Feral Manticores. Alright, first things first, of course, we're going to talk about layout, and you'll notice right off the bat the Middenland army here, led by Pippington, has deployed off to the side, possibly quite clearly hoping for a hilltop deployment from the Warriors of Chaos. Unfortunately, that is not what happened. Not the end of the world, though. And we do have a little bit of cheekiness in this deployment. Overall, it is fairly simple, though. We've got the Greatswords forming the center, capable melee unit, and then off to the sides we have the Spearmen to shut down any Chaos Knights or flying units, anything that might come in from the flanks that might be large. We've got the Silver Bullets back here, obviously able to open fire, hidden right now as they are able to stalk. And then we've got the Great Cannons able to open shots off right from the beginning. Halberdiers back here, again, able to respond to anything that might come in, also able to protect the Great Cannon and the Silver Bullets, or, if needed, support the front. Then, here's the cheekiness, we've got 2 Demigryph Knights with Halberds tucked away in this tiny little forest here, as well as the Light Wizard, and that is some clever play. With the Light Wizard hidden, the opponent doesn't know that there's a net waiting for him, so that can lead to some foolish mistakes. Of course, they wouldn't feel like mistakes without knowing the Light Wizard is there, but if a giant clump is coming in and they get netted down, having the Light Wizard hidden is, clever move. Now, on the topic of cheekiness, let's take a look at the Warriors of Chaos, who have, they've got their Chaos Warriors with great weapons forming their front line, if we'll call it that, and then we've got Chaos Feral Manticore, the Exalted Hero up in the air, the Chaos Lord up in the air, the Chaos Sorcerer of Death up in the air, and then the 2 more Feral Manticore. So, you want to talk about cheeky? There's cheeky. We've got a lot of flying units, and yeah, sure, I suppose they form 3 contingents, and they'll be kept separate, but really, when you've got so many flying units, they can handle more or less anything. So, a lot of mobility here with the Chaos Army, and you can see that aggression starts right off the bat, and the Great Cannon does get a shot off here against the Chaos Warriors with great weapons, probably trying to cause a little bit of early damage because these guys can take out the Empire front line. The Spearmen do not stand a chance against Chaos Warriors with great weapons, and the Greatswords as well. If they get outnumbered, if they get surrounded, they won't last. They won't last a minute. They're not going home to their wives and their children, unfortunately. So, a bit of a tough spot that Middenland is in. But the Great Cannon is trying to get some damage in early on to try and support the eventual frontline conflict. And of course, if the ground troops are all taken care of, Chaos cannot hold the territory with the air alone. Morale will start to drop. So, trying to cause that early damage, and you'll see a decent amount of work being done. Quite a few of these Chaos Warriors are already dead. They are taking a little bit of morale damage, but of course, there's a lot coming towards Middenland's army. Now, I would like to point out a lot of patience here from Pippington, not pulling these Demigryph Knights out at all. These guys are coming in from the side, these guys are coming in from this side, and he does not move these guys out, does not show his hand, because that would ruin any potential chance for surprise he has. So, good level of sort of control there, not pulling these guys out just yet. And you'll see again the army has been pushed forward a little bit. They are lining up against this rock, trying to block off this any flanking maneuvers coming in right from the side here, so anything coming in has to come in from the rear. Just trying to shut it down a little bit, but of course with flying units it's a little different. That's not going to be as effective as you'd like it to be. Now, again, as all these flying units come flying in, you'll see the Great Cannon is now opening shots off, seemingly at the Feral Manticore or the Exalted Hero, and in a second I believe it's going to try and take down the Chaos Lord. So a lot of scattered shots there, and you'll see again the threats are flying in. They're coming in from all sides, so this is a scary spot to be in. And you'll notice as these guys get just a little bit too close, the Silver Bullets are being sent in to open shots off on the Chaos Sorcerer of Death, and that is a good move. You want to shut down magic early on, because as the battle goes on, of course, the winds of magic do get reduced, and the Sorcerer becomes less potent. So if you shut down the Sorcerer of Death early on, not only are you, free from, Soul Blight, Spirit Leech, etc., but you're also removing it from play before it can cause too much damage. So good move there, focusing down on the Sorcerer of Death, and you'll notice the sort of light wizard is revealed, so to speak. We still don't know where it is, still hidden, but that net goes down, and so now the Warriors of Chaos know that there is a light wizard on the battlefield. So another volley goes off, causing a fair amount of damage to the Chaos Sorcerer of Death, and you'll see these Feral Manticore do come in from the rear, wanting to shut down the Silver Bullets, and you'll see over here a couple of things going on. So as these Manticores come in, the Demogryph Knights, rather than coming in here to keep these guys safe, decide to push forward. And it's probably because the Boris here is in trouble, and he's maybe hoping to get these guys to land. But you'll see these guys, they do leave, and that isn't the best move for a couple of reasons. Now, Boris is being attacked by Spirit Leech, so he's going to take some hurt, but he can regenerate. Of course, he does have the Midland Rune Fang, so he can regenerate that. Honestly, he should have been kept far away from the air conflict early on. He would be chased around, so a lot of micromanagement to keep him alive and far away, but that would have kept him safe. Instead, you'll see he actually dives down into these Chaos Warriors with great weapons, and sure, he does a decent amount of damage, but now these Demogryph Knights have to come here to support him, and yes, they might be able to shut down the Exalted Hero and the Manticore, but very risky play there. Plus, if one unit was able to stay behind, you'd see these guys could have been shut down a lot more easily. Right now, the Halberdiers are being sent in to do just that. The Silver Bullets managed to get 2 or 3 volleys off, do a decent amount of work on the Chaos Sorcerer of Death, but then they got shut down by the two Manticores. Now you'll see the Light Wizard is going to take a hit there, take some damage, and the Halberdier is still giving chase. The Manticore is bogged down and decides to give a good hit to these Halberdiers, but obviously these guys are able to take off whenever they'd like. Meanwhile, the fronts are starting to collide now, and you'll notice these Greatswords already taking a significant amount of damage. They are being surrounded by the Chaos Warriors. We've got these Greatswords coming in to try and tackle down these guys, who are going to dive into this unit of Greatswords from the side as well, who are currently being hit by Soul Blight, as well as these 2 Demogryph Knights. Just before they're able to land that damage in, they get their damage capabilities reduced, as well as leadership and armor, so very risky situation there. Over here, the Spearmen dive in as well, and they're going to be slaughtered very quickly. They don't really stand a chance there, so they're definitely not going home to their families. Now you'll notice over here, the General is nearly dead. Boris Todbringer decided to make a ballsy move, and this is exactly what he gets. So now he's in trouble. The Demogryph Knights do come in. He's able to clear up some space, of course, because he does have the mass, and just barely gets out of there with his life, but he's not sticking around. That's the shatter. Boris is off the battlefield. Now you'll notice the Feral Manticore's back here, shutting down the Great Cannon, preventing it from opening shots off at the Chaos Sorcerer of Death, because again, doing a lot of damage there, so shutting that down ASAP. Halberdiers being sent in to respawn, and the Silver Bullets able to open fire at the Chaos Warriors over here, again, just trying to provide some support to those Great Swords all the way from a distance. Now over here, you'll notice Faucet Protection does go down, again, trying to help these guys survive in this very dangerous situation over here. And the Demogryph Knights, of course, with halberds as they are, can do quite a bit of damage, and they are doing just that. The Exalted Hero is more or less taken care of. So at the end of the day, a good move sending them in here, but Boris should have been kept a bit more safe. Now over here, you'll see these Spearmen have given up. The Feral Manticores have taken to the air, and now they're trying to shut down the Light Wizard again, and the Great Cannon is able to open some more shots off at the Chaos Sorcerer of Death. Unfortunately, that hitting the rock, they're not able to get through. More gunshots going down on these Chaos Warriors, and pay attention to how much health these Chaos Warriors have as they start their charge towards the Silver Bullets. Just keep an eye on that. They're at 4, 5, 5, 6. Now over here, again, the Exalted Hero on his way out. Meanwhile, all attention now, all eyes on the Chaos Lord, who is taking a lot of damage. The Potion of Toughness and the Potion of Foolhardiness is helping, yes, keeping morale up, but really need to pull out of there, because even if HP is replenishing, the 2 Demogryph Knights will cause a lot of damage, as they already have done. And again, over here, you'll see very quickly whittling down these Chaos Warriors, so great move, focusing down on them with the Silver Bullets, and at the same time, keeping the Halberdiers here to protect against these Feral Manticores. So great move there. Now off to the side here, you'll see the Demogryph Knights with halberds are being pulled away. Again, they are best used if cycle charging. Of course, when Boris was in there and it was a matter of rescuing Boris, probably more willing to sacrifice some Demogryph Knights with halberds, but now they are being pulled back and they're able to cycle charge back in. Now again, another volley goes in, and over here you're going to see some pretty good movement. Now first things first, the Demogryph Knights are being sent down to help over here. Second thing you'll see is these guys, these Silver Bullets, they get their last volley off there. The halberdiers are being sent in to intercept, and the silver bullets get pulled back just in the nick of time. One or two of them die, unfortunately, for Middenland, but with the halberdiers, they're able to pin them in place, and the Demigryph Knights diving in there. You'll see the Chaos Warriors with great weapons not looking so great. So off they go. Meanwhile, over here, the Great Swords have given up. They're on their way out, being chased down by these Chaos Warriors. Over here, these Great Swords are surrounded by a Feral Manticore and the Chaos Warriors, so they're having a tough time. These Great Swords left completely sort of unattended off to the side here. They could have been sent in, but obviously it's understandable that Pippington right now is paying attention to this mess over here and just trying to keep his ground, trying to hold his position. So you'll see the Feral Manticore, or sorry, the Exalted Hero does come down, shuts down the silver bullets. Ultimately, the two Feral Manticores here duking it out against the Demigryph Knights with halberds. Risky play there. That is not the ideal position. And the Chaos Lord up in the air, trying to reinforce his troops, give them the will to fight. Standard Eye goes down, helping leadership as well as melee defense. So those guys are trying to stay alive there. And you'll see over here, the Feral Manticore is actually chasing this unit of Greatswords. Not the best use. That Feral Manticore, had it been brought back here from the rear into these halberdiers, would have shut these guys down. They would immediately start to rout. Had they been sent here to hit the spearmen, or to get the great swords from behind as well, instantly shut down. So that Feral Manticore being wasted there. It's okay to have these two units of Chaos Warriors with great weapons chase these guys out. That's fine, but the Manticore should have been brought back into this central situation here. Now you'll notice the Chaos Lord up there is diving in to shut down the Great Swords. The Manticore as well. The Chaos Lord gets turned around and pulled back. Not the best move. The Chaos Lord should have been used a bit more effectively here. Can cause a lot of damage if both of these guys, again, dove into the Great Swords, sandwich them, came in from the front and the rear. That's the end of the Great Swords, and then you move on to the Spearmen, or you move away from the Spearmen. So, little unfortunate there. Meanwhile, up here, the Exalted Hero chasing down the Silver Bullets. That is a good call. Now, you want to kill range units on their way out, because if they come back, they don't have to get fully engaged in melee, obviously, to cause damage. That morale damage can make all the difference. And meanwhile, you'll see over here, the Demigryph Knights getting a nice side charge into these Chaos Warriors with great weapons, diving right in, causing a fair amount of morale damage and physical damage, throwing them about. So good use there, good move there, and these Great Swords now able to come in as well and provide some support. The Feral Manticore and the Chaos Lord dive in here. That's dangerous. For the Demigryph Knights in there, that is very dangerous, but they do cause a fair amount of damage. Now, you'll see over here the Exalted Hero still taking care of the Silver Bullets, but ultimately deciding, you know what, let them go. Let them live. Let them go home. Bad move. The Silver Bullets are going to come back, and when they come back, they've got stock. They'll be hidden, so you wouldn't even be able to tell. As the Warriors of Chaos, you see that unit disappear off the map, you think, oh, they've run off. So very bad move there. Now over here, you'll notice the Warriors of Chaos are having a bad time. A lot of them are routing. They are starting to give up. These guys still chasing down those Great Swords. That Manticore should have been down here. These Great Swords being wiped out, and these guys just kind of standing there looking pretty, not getting involved. So unfortunate time for the Warriors of Chaos right now. Perhaps a little too confident in the ability of the Feral Manticores and the Chaos Lord. On the topic of which, the Chaos Lord is on his way out. He's taken a lot of damage from the Demigryph Knights, so he's on his way out, trying to save himself, currently routing. Now this Feral Manticore here is surrounded, not winning this melee combat at all, but the Exalted Hero does come back in, and you'll notice, all the way up here, just as I said, hidden and willing to fight. And those guys, again, can cause a lot of damage from a decent amount of distance. Now the Demigryph Knights here managing to survive, just 5 of them left now, causing a lot of damage to this Manticore alongside the other unit of Demigryph Knights, so you can see that Feral Manticore is shutting down very quickly. These Great Swords are probably relatively confident with all that support nearby, and these Halberdiers as well, just bracing themselves for the Chaos Lord. If the Chaos Lord can be killed, that spells the end of the day for the Warriors of Chaos. The morale damage would call for an end of the day. Now over here, a little bit of mismanagement all the way off in the outskirts of the battle. This should have been flipped. The Chaos Warriors should have been chasing, and the Feral Manticore should have been brought back, because honestly, they just need to be pushed off the field. They don't need to actually be killed. The Manticore would have been much more helpful over here, coming in for rear charges, side charges, shutting down, for example, the Great Swords, or even the Halberdiers. A good charge and then lift off could have destroyed what's left of Middenland's army. Now you'll see everyone's being sent in to try and shut down the Exalted Hero, prevent him from taking off to the air, and you'll see just how much morale damage that does do. These Demigryph Knights trying to prevent that liftoff, and doing a decent job, but of course the Exalted Hero with enough time would be able to take off. But there you have it, a full surround goes down, and now the Exalted Hero is in trouble. Morale dropping instantaneously, health dropping extremely quickly. Chaos Lord, very tempted to come down, but it's a very risky play, of course. Not safe whatsoever at such low health. And if the Chaos Lord dies, as I said, the morale damage would end the battle instantaneously. Unfortunately, the Silver Bullets forgotten by Pippington as well, so Middenland's Silver Bullets staying back, they're not getting involved, would have made a huge difference at this point. And here you see another charge coming in from the Demigryph Knights, finishing off these Chaos Warriors almost, and doing a little bit of damage to these guys as well. Now the Chaos Lord does drop stand or die once again, just trying to hang in there, hold the line while these guys are all charging in. It would have been great if the Warriors of Chaos had consolidated. You'll see they're all moving into battle. Instead, if they had pulled back a little bit, accepted that these units are simply not going to be a part of the battle anymore, and if they just consolidated over here, and if that Manticore hadn't been forgotten, hadn't been sent all the way off to the distance, had been brought back, then there was still a chance for the Warriors of Chaos. But unfortunately, at this point, it's not looking so good at all, especially with the Demigryph Knights able to pull away and get rear charges in with such confidence. And you'll notice over here, the Silver Bullets now being pulled into action as well, and they are able to take out the Chaos Lord if necessary. And there you have it, the Chaos Warriors, they're shattering, and Pippington pulling his troops back to consolidate, and that's very important when morale is low and health is low. Every little bit counts, as I've said countless times before. Now over here you'll see the charges do begin, diving right into these Chaos Warriors, trying to send these guys around to get a flanking maneuver, so nice try there, clearing the space for these Demigryph Knights to fly through, and there the Silver Bullets are firing at the Chaos Lord as well, so a lot of action going down now, trying to finish off the Warriors of Chaos instantaneously, because again, the Spearmen don't stand much of a chance, so they do need to be kept safe. If they start to die out, they might rout, causing a mass rout, but instead we see the reverse happening here. Silver Bullets giving chase to the Chaos Lord, he's routing, but unfortunately not dead. A volley goes off against these Chaos Warriors, their morale drops, and there you have it. We've got a shatter going on there. We've got these guys all routing. Another charge from these Demigryph Knights going to shut down these Chaos Warriors, and that more or less spells the end of the battle. The Chaos Lord is being sent back in. Very risky play because the Silver Bullets, just one more volley would have done it. Unnecessary though, as he does shatter, and that is basically the end of the battle. This Feral Manticore still around, but GG is called, and Pippington and Middenland take the day. And this battle really shows that overconfidence can trip you up and take you down. The Warriors of Chaos could have won, but they need to stay focused and organized. Instead, that initial momentum, it looks like it resulted in some very careless play later on in the battle, and Pippington's resolve shows as he leads Midland to a very unlikely victory at the end. And honestly, that was wonderfully played. It was great to see such patience and calculated movements from Pippington. So greatly done. Now, as always, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more Total War content and keep sending in your battle replays. Seeing these battles is a great way to learn. It's great to analyze and see what other generals are doing on the battlefield, and it's always nice to highlight battles from the community, of course. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.